Hi, this is Trey Pass. I'm going to do a review of Stranger Things season 4, and this is going to have spoilers in it. I watched the first 7 episodes, and I didn't do a review of it, and then I figured I didn't. Basically, I kind of forgot to do a review of it. But then I said, well, the final 2 episodes are coming, on the first Friday, so I said, okay. And I watched those 2 yesterday, and oh my God, they were like mini movies. The last 2 episodes. Okay, it was like almost. I think it was like practically 4 hours of content, excluding credits. But just absolutely intense. And let me just say again, I know a lot of people, and even me included, thinks the first season was probably the best because it was the first one to set up for everything. And but as much as I like season 1, I didn't. And Will was gone for most of it, so that's why it does. I do have it a special place in my heart for season 1 because that was the beginning of everything. But season 4. I think I think this one is the more intense one, and this is sort of like the Empire. I read somebody said this. This is sort of like the Empire Strikes Backs of the of this I guess fiveology that's going to be. I guess it is in a way because at the end of this, the team, our heroes, our friends, didn't get a win. In fact, they took quite a few losses in this. Okay, there were some great reunions and stuff and great moments in this, which I'm going to get to. But they took a lot of losses, okay? And again, one of the things I didn't like about this season 4, but I understood why they did it, is that they kept the groups separated. I was expecting them all to come together, but they didn't really until the end, okay? But I kind of understood why they did it, because let's face it, 11, Joyce, Will and Jonathan, they were in California, okay? They moved, okay? And the only ones left in Hawkins were, our regular group went left in Hawkins. So that's why they were separated. Okay. But the way this show developed over this 9 episodes, they were basically separated. I mean, they eventually sort of came together in a way. If you watch the show, you know what I mean? They kind of came together in a way, but they didn't come physically together until until the end. And we got a big answer about who was the big bad for this whole series so far. I guess you could call him number 1. I guess, who Brenner first took, and they go into his backstory, and I think they did a good job with his backstory. And the actor, I think he's a British actor, Jamie something, I can't remember his name, who was the actual, the guy that you saw, like normally. He worked in the hospital where 11 and all the other subjects were getting trained. And he was actually the first one. And, of course, he was the big bad who created the mind flayer and all that stuff, and they go into his backstory, and I think they did a great job with his look. I mean, his new look, I guess, once he got thrown into the into the to the other world by 11, in the way they explain his character evolving and stuff, and his look, and oh my God, the kills that he got. There were 3 kills that he got. Actually, I guess you could say technically 4, if you include Max in that, but the kills that he did when he, went to them, he basically preyed on their trauma, these kids, and the way he did it was just, you see them just, their eyes, they get all white and they float, and then their body starts, their arms and legs start turning different ways, like, it was just, oh my God, that was like a living nightmare. That's why I say this season was so dark, and it's like like I said, it's the Empire Strike Back of this. I guess fiveology, 5 series, because the next season, the 5th season will be the last of the show. But oh my God, those kills that he was doing. I guess you could call it I think the character was called Vecna, or we can call him, I guess, number 1, because he was actually the first kid that Brenner was experimenting with. And just, oh my God, and those scenes with him, and I've got Matthew Modine, who's just. I've always liked him as an actor, but he really, to me, bringing Papa back, who I thought died, and was it was the first season? I thought he died, but in any event, he was just, oh my God, just his character is just, it's just something about him and Millie Bobby Brown when they're together on screen, that that she should hate him and all that stuff, but when she calls him Papa, is just something about that just, I don't know, it just gives me like a visceral reaction to that, because he is so messed up and all the things he did to to get all those kids and all that stuff. That was just, beyond sick in a power play. But I think in his head, he really thinks that he's really a father figure to these kids, which is just insane when you think about it. Just trying to tap into their power and all this. Just insane. Especially what he did to Eleven's mother. That was just beyond cruel and just, oh my God, just incredible. But anyway, they introduced some new characters in this show. And we see the evolving of the characters. We see Lucas is now he's on the team, the basketball team, and he's trying to, hang with the popular kids. And him and Max have kind of broken up. And one relationship that I do like on this show, to me, which I think was a lot better, because I kind of think Step 3, their relationship kind of took a back seat, Max and Lucas. But I think in this season, you really felt it, and they're actually loved, their love for each other and their chemistry, and them, they had a lot of good moments together with those two characters, which I really appreciate. Which I think they kind of took a back seat in season 3, but I think in this season it really stepped up because Max's character was really one of the main stars of this season, and oh my God, Sadie Sink, that's the actress's name. Boy, did she deliver. I'm going to get to her scene and another character scene. There's another character named Eddie who was in charge of this group called the Hellfire Club, which they are nerds in town were part of. It was like a Dungeons and Dragons team, and they were a part of that. But this character named Eddie, who was like a metalhead outside loner guy. Oh my God, I loved him. He was like another big brother to Dustin's character, and the actor Dustin, who absolutely kills it for me. He can make you cry at the drop of a hat. Oh my God, I love the chemistry between those guys because he was like another Steve to him, and oh my God, when Vecna started attacking, and one of the first persons that he killed was a cheerleader who was like friendly to this Eddie outsider guy and she was like girlfriend to the main jock guy who was, they kind of make the guys kind of stereotypical, but you can kind of understand why he was so pissed off when she got victimized, and he thought that Eddie did it, and he was like on a rampage to try to hunt him down and stuff, just insane. And of course Dustin came to his rescue and stuff, and the chemistry between them was just great. Just that them hanging out, and again, I like the chemistry between Steve and Robin, and again that was one of the things I liked their friendship, and I think it's really good. But I really wanted them to get together, even though that was a great moment when she came out to him in the bathroom. Because I just liked their chemistry. I thought their chemistry was great, and they were just best friends. And she could always call him out on his crap, and it was just really good together. I just really appreciate that, and we get more of that in this season. But we also get more of Nancy. Like I said, Nancy, I guess, is with the team with the group in Hawkins. It's Steve, Nancy, Robin, Dustin, Lucas, and his little sister. I guess there's a main, and Eddie. They're the main group in Hawkins. Okay, and then of course in California we have, because they have Mike go out to California to visit 11. So it's Mike, Mike, Will, and what's his name? I can't remember his name. and Will's brother, I can't remember his Jonathan. Excuse me. And Jonathan's stoner buddy, who was absolutely hilarious in the scene. He was like a secret MVP to me, the stoner guy that I forgot even what his name was, but he was like a stoner guy. They used to hang out. And Jonathan's character to me didn't get the most development in this season, which I kind of was disappointed in that. I mean, they kind of touched on it a little bit in the beginning of this season when they were talking about how he was kind of like avoiding Nancy and stuff, and he didn't pick out his college and stuff, and he didn't get that much character development, which I think kind of sucked for his character, and hopefully they'll remedy that now that I think they're going to all be in one spot in Hawkins. I think they're all going to be in one spot together this coming final season. I think Jonathan got the short end of the stick But there was a really good moment between him and Will, and I think is it episode 8 or episode 9? I think it's it's episode 8 that I think it begins in. Well, let me explain this scene. There's a scene because we know, and I don't care what anybody says. Okay, this is just my opinion about this. Will is in love with Mike. Okay, there's just no way around it. At first, when they were showing Will in the class, and this girl was like flirting with him actively, and he was like pulling back from her. I said, oh, maybe he just doesn't like her. Okay, maybe he has a crush on some. And I never thought that he had a crush on 11 or anything like that. But he was really good friends with her. But you could tell he was crushing hard on Mike. Excuse me, Will was crushing hard on Mike. Okay, so I don't care what anybody else says, because some people try to say, no, he may be gay, but he's not in love with Mike. He just misses their friendship and all this stuff. Yeah, he does misses their friendship and their closeness, but he is in love with Mike. Okay, I don't care what anybody says, and nobody will ever convince me otherwise that he's not in love with Mike. He is. Okay, and that's happened before to people in real life. There's been, of course, that happens in real life. People that are gay, that they're in love with their who haven't really come out, and they're in love with their best friend, and they don't know how to tell them. They don't want to tell them because obviously they don't want to deal with the rejection and stuff, and being stigmatized with that if they don't return the feelings and all this stuff. So there was a moment where he was explaining when they were on their way to try to rescue 11. Okay, they were driving in the desert, and Will showed Mike a picture that he said that L drew, 11 drew about, and he saw Mike. He's basically telling Mike he's the heart of the group and all that stuff, and how much 11 cares for him, how much she loves him, and all this stuff. But it's really him saying 11, but it's really him speaking to Mike. He's saying all that stuff as 11, but it's really him expressing his feelings. And you see Jonathan, when he's driving and he's looking in the rearview mirror, and he's looking at Will, explain this to Mike, and he can tell, because he's his brother, of course, obviously, and he can tell that he's telling Mike how he really feels. You can tell Jonathan knows, because he's giving him a look. He's looking in the mirror, and he's looking while he's telling him that. And then there's a moment where after he tells him that, and he turns, and Will just turns away, and then he starts biting his hand to stop himself from, because he's crying, because he finally kind of admitted it, that he loves Mike, but not really. And I thought that was such a great scene, the way they directed it, with him explaining that, and with Jonathan looking in the rearview mirror, knowing that's him saying that. And I like later on in episode 9 when they're preparing the ice bath for 11, and Jonathan and him are mixing it, and Jonathan tells him, "Listen, I miss us being together, us being close. You say, you can tell me anything, I miss us being close, but you're my brother. I love you, and it doesn't matter whatever happens, I always love you." Which I thought was just, again, that was just one of those heartbreak, and they hug. It's just one of those great moments. I thought that a real touching moment. Like I said, Jonathan didn't have that much to do in this season, but that was really a great moment between him and Will. And I'm glad they remember that they're brothers and stuff, and to give them some scenes together. Okay, because I really miss that, because I think there was a moment in season 1, or I think it was season 1, where Will goes missing, where Jonathan has a great moment with Joyce, and he tells her how he feels guilty for not being there for Will, and she tells him, no, it's not your fault, and she's hugging him. And I think that, again, I think the actor who plays Jonathan is a good actor if you just give him some material, and I think he's been getting the short shrift of stuff, especially this season. He really got the short end of the stick, I think, in this season. Hopefully next season remedies that. But anyway, the whole thing is Vecna wants to come to the real world, right? He needs 4 kills before he can come basically to the real world. Okay, and we bring that his demon world to the real world. Okay, and he gets 3 kills, and now the 4th kill was supposed to be Max, but Max, I think it was episode 4 where she escaped. Okay, and then they can use her as bait to draw him out again, so they can actually, they use her as bait, and then Eddie and Dustin are going to be like the distraction, while Nancy, Steve, and Robin go destroy his physical body in the Upside Down. Okay, and Oh my God, that the scene. There's two scenes that figure into that. This is towards the end of the series. She gets sucked back into the world and stuff, and she's about to get got by Vecna, but then 11 jumps in, piggybacks. That's the name of the title, I think, of the episode. She piggybacks on top on Vecna and gets into mine, and she battles him in there. But ultimately, she gets caught, and Vecna's getting ready to basically start sucking the life out of Max, and oh my God! And there's a scene while this is going on, Eddie, Eddie and Dustin, they're distracting and stuff, and they're running back to the trailer on the upside down world, and they're supposed to go back to our world because they provided the distraction by him playing the guitar, and I thought he did a great job. I don't know if the actor really knows how to play guitar, but whoever that was did a great job with that. But anyway, they run back, and instead of Eddie, and I realized why he did this. He when they tie a rope between the upside down world and our world, and he sends just Dustin through first, and then he thinks about it, then he cuts the line so Dustin can't get back. And he's, of course, Dustin's freaking out and screaming, "What are you doing, Eddie? Come back, come back." He's screaming. And Dustin and Eddie, because he ran when that cheerleader got by Vecna, I think in the first episode. I think it was the first episode. It might have been the second one, where she got destroyed by Vecna. He always felt guilty about running, so I guess he decides to make the ultimate sacrifice. He's saying he's not going to run. He's going to give them extra time to destroy Vecna. So he goes, he cuts to keep Dustin in there, keep him safe, and he basically charges out there to basically sacrifice himself. And of course, Dustin is freaking out, and he jumps through he jumps through the upside down. I think he tilts the mattress that they land on, and he jumps through the upside down and get there. And he's trying to run to get to Eddie before he sacrifices himself, but it's too late. He dies, literally. He dies with Dustin right there with him, and at the same time you see Max, because Lucas, who's supposed to be there watching Max, the basketball team guys show up, and he's basically fighting them while she's in the trance, and he's trying to because he's supposed to pull her out after a certain time, but he can't. He's fighting this dumb jock guy. He's fighting him at the same time, and then you see her start levitating, and she's literally dying. You see her body parts start getting twisted, her arms, her legs, and then you see her eyes, and then Dustin just again overpowers him. Not Dustin, excuse me. Lucas overpowers him and knocks him out. But it's like too late, and you see, and then you see 11. She hears Mike telling her, "I love you," and then she finally fights back against Vecna, and they wind up, getting rid of him temporarily. But at the same time, you see when Max falls down after Vecna's taken care of, you see that she's blind, and her eyes are bleeding, and she's dying, and Lucas is holding her in his arms, and she's saying, "I don't want to die. I don't want to go. I don't." Yeah, and at the same time, you see Dustin holding Eddie, saying, "Don't die, don't die, don't die." And oh my God, between Caleb and the actor who plays Dustin, oh my God, and like I said, Lucas is the character and Dustin characters. They're both holding people they love, and they're dying on them, and it's just, oh my God, those two moments are just heartbreaking to watch. It's just like, oh my God, it's like, oh God, it was just killer. Those two moments were, and then we actually see 11, because we see, at first I thought she was dead, because the way she said that Max, she was saying, "I don't want to die," and I'm not ready to go, and then you see her like and you see Lucas is like blubbering. But you see the ghost, not the ghost, the on the astral plane, you see 11 is there, and I think she actually restarts Max's heart, because they show 2 days later after the fact, and then we find out, everybody reunites, and then we find out where somebody I think asks, "Where's Lucas and where's Max?" And then they go to the hospital, and you find out that she's in a coma. you see her in the hospital with a neck brace on, and she's unconscious, and they said she's in a coma. And so right now, I think what happened with her character, Max, obviously, 11 restarted her heart, so she's alive, but I think I think her mind is gone. Wherever Vecna is right now, I think that's where her mind is, because Vecna, I think, had his hand on her long enough that I think he sucked out her mind. So I think she's trapped. So I think in season 5, when they go to have the final confrontation with Vecna, that they're gonna free Max, and she'll go back to her body, and she'll be able to see, and she'll be healed. She'll have her arms and the legs will be working and stuff, and I think she'll come out of her coma and stuff. But I think that's how it's gonna wind up, because I thought they did kill Max, but they only killed Eddie, who was a really good new character. I missed that relationship he had with Dustin. It was just, you felt it so bad when Dustin was urging him not to die and stuff. And then there was a great moment when, they go to the town, and the town literally gets split into fours. Hawkins gets split into fours, and you see people leaving the town, by the carload. They're leaving the town. But you go to they got some signs up for missing people and stuff. And Eddie's uncle, who he lived at in the trailer park, he had a missing sign up there for his for Eddie. And of course, these idiots in that town, they mark on it devil and all this stuff, killer and all this stuff. And he takes it down and puts a new one up. And then Dustin actually goes to him and say, "Your son was a hero." He tells him, and I think that was a really nice moment. He tells his uncle that your son wasn't a coward. He wasn't a murderer. He was brave. He saved my life, and he was a hero. And I thought that was a really touching moment, because you could see the uncle that really got to him, and it really gave him some comfort to know that his nephew died a hero. I thought that was really nice, and that really get me in the feels. Again, that was just I kind of hated that he died, because Eddie was a nice new character. Okay, and I think there was a lot of moments. Like I said, it was more Nancy and Steve moments. And I think there was even a moment when Steve was saying they had a dream that in the future that he would have 6 kids. He would go out in a camper and stuff, because there was a moment where they steal a camper to go to go buy weapons and stuff. To fight the Vecna guy. And he's telling Nancy his dream that he wants 6 kids, 3 guys, 3 boys, 3 girls and stuff. And then later on he tells Nancy that it was her that he wanted to have the family with. But then they kind of get interrupted by Robin, and then they don't get back to that until later when Jonathan comes back, and then they kind of go off. And there's a moment too with Robin where she likes the band girl, her bandmate, I guess that works with her. She has a kind of a crush on her. Until then later we see her when they're getting the weapons in the ammo store. They see her kissing her boyfriend, and and Robin just kind of runs off. And then later, towards the end, she sees Robin again, and she's volunteering, and she tells Robin that she broke up with her boyfriend, because he's going away to college, and they broke up and stuff. And then you see them basically flirt again. So Robin could probably hook up again, because I'm thinking the bandmate girl, she's either bisexual or she just hasn't come out yet, and she does have a crush on. I think she does like Robin. They're just kind of afraid to admit it to each other, but I think you can tell that they really like each other. So I think that will work out. And you can see Steve having a big smile while he's watching their interaction. I thought it was great. And I want for Steve, because what I think is going to happen in the end is that Nancy, she's not going to be with Jonathan anymore, and she's not going to go with Steve. I think she's going to ultimately break up with Jonathan, because Jonathan, I think, doesn't really want to go to college. I don't know what he wants to do, really, because they really didn't get into depth with it. But I think Nancy does want to go to college and be something. And she has really good instincts, and I think she could be a top-notch reporter wherever she goes. And I think ultimately they'll come to that decision together. They'll say, no, listen, we've grown apart, and you want different things, I want different things, and she'll go off on her own. And I think hopefully Steve will they'll introduce a new love interest for him next season, which I think should, because his character has had the most consistent turnaround, which I really love about his character. He's had the biggest turnaround from season 1 being a dick to just being a babysitter to being just an all-around great stand-up guy. And I want him to be happy, and I think that's going to happen. I think the Duffers will do that. I think they'll have him either meet some chick or something, meet some woman or something. Hopefully, be hopefully not just in the last episode. I would like him to meet someone in season 5 when the stakes are up there, and she relies on him, and he really finds his soulmate. Okay, that's what I want for him. Okay, and then again, I want Will, who again is just one of my favorite guys. And oh my God, he broke my heart with that moment with Mike in the van and stuff, and him just expressing his feelings, and Jonathan looking at it and knowing those moments were great to me. So hopefully Will be the key to defeating because he said when they went back to Hawkins that he could feel the guy still. He could still feel him, even though they 11 had stopped him, and they basically kind of lit him up, and and Nancy shot him full of bullets, and then he disappeared, but he's still around. So and then at the end, like I said, at the end of Hawkins, you see, like I said, the town is split up into 4s, and you see that mist that you see when you're upside down. You see that now in the real world of Hawkins. You see that stuff that just that mist or whatever that is that destroys things, because you see it destroying these flowers and stuff. So it's bleeding in to Hawkins. The upside down is kind of bleeding into Hawkins. Like I said, the whole everybody's in the same town now. So that's what I want. I don't want them to separate anymore. Let the last big adventure be them all in the same town in Hawkins, and let 11 really reach her full potential, which I think she will, and she'll ultimately defeat not the Mind Flayer. She'll defeat Vecna. Now, I was thinking about what I want, because I read something that they said Bobby Brown said that they should do sort of like a Game of Thrones thing in season 5, like characters dying left and right. I don't know about that, but I do think some of the characters should, there should be some kind of stakes with maybe some characters dying, not the kids so much. I don't see, if I say this, then it seems like kind of bogus. Like, a lot of people thought maybe Steve was going to die, and I never really thought Steve was going to die in this season, at least. But I don't want Steve to die. I want Steve to get out and find love and go on his way. But to draw some... Oh, yeah. And speaking of... I didn't mention this, but I'm going to mention this real briefly. The whole Russian subplot with him rescuing Hopper, that was okay. It was just sometimes I prefer the other scenes, the main scenes in Hawkins. I prefer those scenes. The California guys were mostly, to me, comic relief because the surfer stoner guy that was with them. So I prefer the Hawkins team in season 4. The Russian team, the only good thing about it was the reunion between Joyce and Hopper and stuff. I thought that was really good. Their reunion was good, and that actor, he lost a lot of weight to show that he was, that he was in he probably dieted or something to show that he was in because he was in Russia and he got all slim and stuff. And he just really knocked it out of the park for me too. He's a tough guy. So hopefully, I was hoping they don't kill him too. But Billy Bobby Brown is saying maybe they should do like Game of Thrones and kill a bunch of people. So who would I want them to kill in season 5? I want Max to come back, which I think she will. Okay. I'm trying to think. Let's see. You got to pick somebody to die. Let's put it that way. Let's see. Who would die? No, I don't want Will to die either. I don't want Will to die. Maybe 11. Maybe she makes the ultimate sacrifice. I could see that happen. And I don't think Millie Bobby Brown would be against her character dying, even though that would be like a bummer for Mike. But like maybe she has to seal up the portal and be its permanent guardian to keep Vecna from coming back. She basically tells Mike goodbye, and that she'll always love him, and it ends that way with her basically sealing the portal from the inside. And so you think that she always got to be there battling Vecna to keep him from coming into our world. So she makes sense of it. That I could buy that heroic sacrifice, and that way I would buy that bring Max back and let 11 sacrifice herself. Even though I like Millie Bobby Brown in this show, but I think I could see that happening. That would be a great sacrifice, I think, because I don't want to see any other kids. I don't want to see Dustin die. Dustin is just one of my favorites. I don't want to see Lucas die either, because I want Lucas and Max to be together once she comes back out of her coma. I don't want her to sacrifice herself. I know somebody was saying maybe that she'll be in Vecna's mind and she'll tell him how to defeat him and she'll before she dies or something. No, I want her to come back, which I think she will. But I would rather let 11 make the ultimate sacrifice if somebody has to die, because I don't want to see any of the other characters die. I really don't. Okay, but I could see them making 11 make the ultimate sacrifice, which would be heartbreaking, but I think would be great. A great way to wrap it up. Have her just make the ultimate sacrifice. Okay, and she just she seals the portal from the inside. She says goodbye to Hopper, goodbye to Mike, goodbye to the other guys, and say, I have to do this to make sure he never comes to this world again. Okay, and she said thank you for having she tells them thank you for letting showing me kindness and happiness, and although I could see them having her go super Saiyan and just killing just destroying Vecna, which I can see happening, and then just sailing up the thing, and that'll be it. But if she makes that sacrifice, I wouldn't mind that, because I don't want to see any other kids die, even though I know people are saying these kids got plot armor and they're never going to die. But I thought for sure that Max was going to die. I thought she did die until they showed that she was just in a coma. So I know they're going to bring her back. But Eddie made the ultimate sacrifice, which I really hate, because Eddie was a good addition. But I guess you have to make sacrifices, I guess. So that's why that happened. But anyway, overall, I think this season was the darkest and again, like the Empire Strikes Back of this 5-part series, and just really, really good. Dark as hell. Like I said, the only part I didn't like was them being separated. Okay, and even though they had 11 when they went to go rescue the California crew, I call them, they went to rescue 11, and she took down the helicopter and all that stuff, and she said goodbye to Papa, and then she piggybacked into Max's mind to battle Vecna. Okay, and like I said, they were in 3 different locations. Joyce and them were in Russia. They were in California, right? I guess, or not Arizona, somewhere in the Midwest somewhere. And then with the Hawkins group and stuff. And just again, my special favorite moments of this season was Will's confession to Mike, his "I love you" confession, disguised as it being 11 saying it, but it was really him, and Jonathan noticing it, and that moment with him and Jonathan in the kitchen where he tells him, you can always tell me anything, it doesn't matter, and I'll always love it. And I thought that was just great. Those 2 moments together, I guess, be all part of the Will, my favorite moments for Will for this series. And then my second favorite moment was the Eddie making the sacrifice and dying in Dustin's arms, and Max dying in Lucas's arms and saying that she doesn't want to go, she's not ready, and she's blind, her legs and her arms are broken, and her dying, and Lucas blubbering, and just those two moments were just killer. And special honorable mention to Joyce and Hopper hooking up in Russia when they were changing clothes and stuff, and then they kind of hooked up in the Dmitri, the Russian guys, not Dmitri, the Russian guys' warehouse. Okay, but those are my 2 favorite moments. And also special mention to when Max was thinking about her favorite moments. And I think Dustin even teased her, not Dustin, Lucas teased her about, I hope I'm in one of your favorite moments. And she kind of teased him. And then you later see that her favorite moment was the snowball dance where she kissed Lucas. Okay, so that was her favorite moment. It was a moment with him. So I thought that was nice. But again, those are my other, I guess those are my 3 favorite moments. Lucas and Max. Her favorite moment being the snowball dance where they kissed for the first time. Will's confession to Mike about 11 loving him when it's really him saying he loved him, and Jonathan noticing it, and him and Jonathan having that moment in the kitchen, and then Eddie dying in Dustin's arms, and and Max dying in Lucas's arm, even though 11 restarted her heart. Those are my 3 favorite moments for this season. Anyway, so if I have to rank them, I think this season 4 to me would be up there. Okay, it just has to be. I think it would be probably 1, 4, maybe 2, 3, and we'll see how 5 is. But love this show. Anyway, I know this review has been long, but I want to get everything out that I want to say. Okay, and my expectations, like I said, I already said that what I think will happen. Even though Millie Bobby Brown said it, so maybe they might do it, but they might do it because she kind of wants to have a Game of Thrones ending when everybody dies. So maybe, excuse me, her character 11 will make the ultimate sacrifice to seal up the portal between the worlds and stuff, and stay inside of the portal, seal it up from the inside, and that basically make the ultimate sacrifice to stay there to make sure Vecna stays in that world and not come to our world. So she'll basically sacrifice herself for the world, which I think would be, that'd be an amazing moment. And, you could have Wolf, what's his name? Mike just go nuts, screaming and crying. And you see Hopper trying to hold him back when she's making the sacrifice. I could see that happening. I could see that happen. Okay. So anyway, and like I said, I think again, ultimately Nancy will not. Her and Jonathan will mutually break up, and she won't be with Steve either. Steve will find love. That's what I think will happen. He'll find love, and Robin will hook up with the girl finally, and Max and Lucas will reunite. Okay. And I want to see Susie comes to visit. Even though we had a brief visit, we did see Susie and her sister and her family, which I think was nice, or crazy family. But we didn't see Dustin with Susie, which I want to actually see. So maybe we'll get Susie coming to Hawkins to visit Dustin. I think that would be good for the 5th season. Have his girlfriend actually in town. I think that would be cool for him to have that. And hopefully, again, I want Will to be happy, okay? And let him get some kind of peace. I don't know how they'll do it, but I want Will to have some peace because he's suffered so much. So, and I want him to feel when he dies, when Vecna dies, and Will doesn't feel him anymore, and he's happy and he's content. That's what I want for Will. I want him to be happy, okay? And maybe have him come out to his mom or something. I think that would be cool if he'd do that. If they show that, that would be cool, okay? And Jonathan would be there, and of course he would already know, and this be just a great moment when he comes out to his mom. And I think that would be great just to have a scene with those 3 characters, Joyce, Will, and Jonathan. And when Will comes out to his family, I think that'd be great. I could always see the tears flowing. Anyway, let me know what you think of season 4 of Stranger Things. What do you think of it? Feel free to leave comments down below. Let me know what you think. And what do you think will happen in season 5? Let me know who you think is going to die in season 5. If I had to guess, like I said, I think 11 might make the ultimate sacrifice. I think she will, because I think, especially since the actress Millie Bobby Brown kind of wants that, I think she could probably convince the Duffer Brothers, let 11 sacrifice herself. So I can see that happening. Anyway, links to my social media in the description box: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Also have a link to my other channel, While Using Opinions. We check that out as well. Also have a link down below to my Patreon. I want to say a special thank you to my patron. His name will appear in this video somewhere. I want to say thank you to him for supporting me. Always have my back. And again, my patron's only $5 a month. I have tons of content on there, tons of unedited content on there. I got everything from WandaVision to Loki to Hawkeye to Moon Knight to What If to Obi-Wan Kenobi, The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, Titans, Doom Patrol, Superman and Lois, Stargirl, all 4 parts of Zack Snyder's Justice League, and The Flash Season 8. Follow link below to the Patreon. Check it out. Also, give this video a thumbs up. It helps the channel. I truly appreciate it. Also, hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you know when I upload new content to this channel. And this is Trey Pastor saying so long and take care.